Abandoning the Northern Ireland Protocol is easily one of the most stupid, ridiculous, reckless, you name it. It's a completely and utterly stupid idea. But this goes back. It goes back all the way back to 2017, all the way back to David Davis, who trumpeted at the fact while he was in the midst of negotiating this, saying, oh, it will be fine because we can pass it and then we can alter it at a later date. And it was not just David Davis. Many other prominent Brexiteers during, from about 2017, 2018, even, 2019, even up until today, even within the past couple of weeks, have all said that we could take the Northern Ireland Protocol and just change it as we wish, and or even just drop it or abandon it at our whim. And this is so insane because Brexiteers just don't seem to understand. There has to be a border somewhere. If we are not going to be in the customs union and the single market, which will allow for the free flow of goods, then there has to be a border somewhere to initiate those checks. And of course, we've talked about the fantasy operations and the trust system, where apparently we will have companies, say, dib, 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 dob, 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 and scouts, what is it? Scouts, I can't remember how you do it now. Scouts honour. I can't remember how we used to do it now, but yeah, Scouts honour that we won't, break the laws and not be sending stuff that we shouldn't. Of course they're going to do that. Of course they're going to do that. It's absolutely insane to think that they can just get away with it, because we have an international treaty that we signed back in 1997 called the Good Friday Agreement or the Belfast Agreement, depending on which side of the border you're on. And, that itself states that there cannot be a hard land border on the island of Ireland. Simple as that. And because, again, Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers were so desperate to try and, quote, get Brexit done and try and put it behind them, because they realised the position that this was putting themselves in. And even the hardcore Brexiteers themselves, who initiated the coup to get Boris Johnson in and pushed through their hard right agenda for Brexit, even themselves realised that, chucking in the Northern Ireland Protocol regardless and not even giving it a second to actually see how it would work in practice is really the source of all these current problems. But of course, there are now still fools talking about how we could easily just abandon the Northern Ireland Protocol, lock, stock and barrel, and apparently everything would be fine. No, because you've got to have a border somewhere. And again, you can't have a hard land border on the island of Ireland. So it has to be in between the Irish Sea, between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. So today we are going to turn to the Irish Times, because I've said before, it's always good to go and get a foreign perspective on sometimes events happening here in the UK. And very often the Irish Times is probably the best place to go for some of this stuff. So before we do jump into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, there are my Patreons links down below, as well as a one-off link, a one-off donation link, to Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. Apparently I need one today. So, to the Irish Times we go. So, the title of this is Talk of Abandoning the Northern Ireland Protocol is Knowingly Reckless. So, 5 years ago, the result of the UK's Brexit referendum reverberated around the UK and around the world. After 43 years of EU membership, the UK had made a monstrous decision. A momentous decision. Slip of the tongue. As Ireland's ambassador to Germany at the time, My phone began ringing early the next morning. One particular caller, a member of the Bundestag, saw things in a straightforward terms. That a united Ireland was surely now possible, if not inevitable. And I was a bit surprised, a little appreciating at the time just how prevalent this ambition was to emerge in a post-Brexit world. The UK has fully withdrawn from the EU, its single market and customs union, and is now regarded as a third country. It's a termless time, and for many of us, a sad period in our history. It has also revealed the great deal about the UK, Ireland, and the EU, and reminded us, too, of the importance of our transatlantic relations. Brexit has thrown into sharp relief how quickly and perilous the essential trust between Dublin and London, built painstakingly by the successive Irish Prime Ministers and UK Prime Ministers, has been over many years, and it could be eroded at a snap. In a recent webinar hosted by the Institute for International and European Affairs, Bernie Artem and Tony Blair discussed the peace in Northern Ireland. The trust and friendship they developed and enjoyed, so vital for real progress, was apparent for all to see. And in 2010, we saw the state visit of Queen Elizabeth to Ireland. It was the first state visit since the first reigning British monarch to Ireland since independence. A visit like that was unthinkable for most of our lifetimes. These and several other important initiatives were high points of the Anglo-Irish relations, and they now seem like a very distant memories. Brexit has not only undermined the trust, but it has also fundamentally altered the context of British-Irish cooperation and thwarted the ambition of so many of us for our normalised relationship between these islands. During the referendum campaign, the border barely featured in any debates. Today, it features in almost every discussion on the future of the EU-UK relationships. The protocol is a bespoke solution for a unique and sensitive situation. Moreover, it was one mutually agreed upon by both sides. The UK's resort to unilateralism in the recent months is deeply regrettable. The genius of the Belfast Agreement was the decision to emphasise the totality of relationships on these islands. The UK alone is in no position to judge what is best for the peace process. The best chance of maintaining uncertain times is for a close and committed partnership between the two governments. The outcome of Brexit in particular, and the outcome for Northern Ireland, has opened up a Pandora's box of sensitive issues. The question on Irish unity has now become the central talking point in the discussion on the future of Northern Ireland. Maybe my caller from the Bundestag was onto something, because this debate is directly attributable to Brexit. This has now clearly developed a lot more momentum. It is obvious that we need to proceed with a calm and sensitive debate, or risking adding to the current instability. As we find a way to work with the protocol, the dialogue and cooperation across all communities and traditions on this island as a whole, it is needed now more than ever. As much as the past 5 years has been about the UK's journey to find its place outside Europe, they have also brought Ireland closer to Europe, and few now would question that Ireland's place is undoubtedly within the EU, and the withdrawal negotiations have demonstrated the power of European solidarity. We can be grateful that both the European Commission and the Irish government insisted that issues regarding to Northern Ireland were addressed before the withdrawal, and even more grateful that the dreaded cliff edge and the hard deal was avoided. If the UK is set on an antagonistic relationship with its European neighbours, it is increasingly seems like being on the EU teams gives Ireland a far greater deal of comfort and protection in these unhappy circumstances. And it should be obvious now that now is the time to change tack. Talk of abandoning the protocol and imposing checks on the island of Ireland or in the Celtic Sea is knowingly irresponsible and reckless. To do so would undermine not only the EU equally, but the strategic autonomy of the Irish state itself. The seismic changes of the past 5 years mean the need for a new reset in relations, north, south, east and west, UK and EU. It is now greater than ever before, but is surely only possible when the UK's relationship with the EU is settled and sure. The implementation of the protocol will require practical and flexible solutions, but equally, it will require the UK to fulfill its international and legal obligations. I hope by the time the next Brexit anniversary arrives, we will have transcended Brexit and are enjoying a renewed and revitalised relationship with our British friends. So, I've said this before. I do not think Boris Johnson and his Brexiteers have any idea really what they've honestly done. And I think that just as the negotiations with Norway showed that the UK this year is all about essentially trying to show as much antagonism and playing to the seats as possible, and at the end of the year we're going to get, oh wow, hasn't Brexit been a fantastic success this year? And then as soon as we get into next year, there's going to be some talks and negotiations with the EU, which will maybe lighten some of the things, and again probably shift towards a more closer relationship with Europe. And then of course the question will be asked, if we have such a close relationship with Europe, why then are we not in the customs union and single market? And of course this always leads us going back to being in the EU. It doesn't matter, even if the UK were to take the hardest possible way to try and tear itself away as Europe as fast as possible, we are still would find ourselves in that position. It might take us longer to go back, but we'd still end up back in the EU. So, as I've said before, Boris Johnson doing this and this way, and some of the Brexiteers, how they talk about removing the Northern Ireland Protocol, is incredibly dangerous. Is it disingenuous? Do they intend to do it? I don't know, but they've certainly got no answers to actually try and replace it, or even how they would maybe alter the Good Friday Agreement, if they even dare alter the Good Friday Agreement on that. We don't know. But like I say, these are the idiots who are unfortunately in charge at the moment, and unfortunately what we've got to live with. So, that being said, thank you for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, we'll see you all next time.